What's going on, everybody? My name is Michael, and in this video I'm going to tell you everything that you need to know before you book your Airbnb. So first things first is I am currently at an Airbnb in Central Texas. I am here on business. We chose to do an Airbnb because there were three of us currently staying here. Hotels with kitchens were running about $200 a night. In this we got for about $170 a night, so it just made sense to stay here because normally we'd get 3 hotel rooms, and since this was literally a third of the price, we decided that this would be a better route. Everyone has their own bedroom, everyone has their own bathroom, and we're just sharing the common areas. And that really works out well for us most of the time. The problems that we run into is usually the cancellation policy. Is sometimes we don't know how long we're going to stay. So if we're picking an Airbnb and it's we end up finishing like 3 days early, we are out that money. So if we end up leaving 3 days early, we're not going to get a refund for those 3 days. So we just have to know that when we cost, and I want you guys to know that. So when you cost a Airbnb compared to a hotel, that a hotel, if you leave early, they won't charge you for those next extra nights. They'll rent those out to somebody else. It's no big deal. Airbnb does not work that way. We've also had a problem where we couldn't extend our stay because there was somebody else staying here. So we ended up having to move to a hotel or another Airbnb once before as well. And it would just been way easier, you know, if we were at a hotel to just extend it another night, because most time hotels aren't fully booked unless there's an event in the city or something like that. But one of the big things about an Airbnb, that advantage is if you're staying at least 7 nights, a lot of times they offer huge discounts for people who are staying 7 nights or even a month, sometimes even a greater discount. The next Airbnb we're staying at, we originally were going to be only there for 6 days. I decided to do a 7th day because I'm not sure how long the job's exactly going to take, and I'd rather do a little bit longer than shorter. Well, come to find out, 7 days offered a bigger discount, so I'm only getting charged $13 for that 7th day. So it's a no-brainer. Just if I'm out $13, I'm out $13. It's really not that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things. The other thing is when you book an Airbnb, it'll tell you how many adults it allows. It will also tell you if it allows pets or not. Pets are usually additional one-time service fee. A lot of times it's around $35, I believe. Well worth it. Hotels usually charge way more than that, so it's a really good way to stay somewhere if you are traveling with a pet, especially for more than one night, so that you do have a yard. Just make sure you're respectful, pick up after your pet, and all that kind of stuff. The other thing I would say is that if it says 7 guests, make sure you don't go above 7 guests. Do not lie about how many people are staying at your Airbnb. A lot of these Airbnbs have Ring doorbells. A lot of them also have noise sensors, where if there's a party going on, it will alert the homeowner, and the homeowner usually lives in the area, so they'll just drive by and see what's going on. It's not worth risking your security deposit or further charges from Airbnb just because you wanted to have 8-9 guests there. If the house rules say no partying, just, you know, no partying. Go find an Airbnb that will allow partying or any other service there is. It's just really not worth it. One of the other things you need to take aware of when you're pricing it is that there is cleaning fees and service fees. The longer you stay, the more it gets diluted, so it's really not that big of a deal for us. But if you're only staying for a couple days, it really can add up. Sometimes cleaning fees are up to $150 I've seen, where if you're staying one night, that can double your price, and it's way cheaper to do an Airbnb or do a hotel, and it just doesn't make any sense to stay at Airbnb. But what I found is anything over about 4 days, it does make a lot more sense to stay at Airbnb, as long as you know your specific dates that you are staying. One of the biggest things is also, if you're not sure if your trip will get moved around a little bit, as you can find Airbnbs that are a little more accommodative for your for cancellation. but most of them you're still losing half of your deposit if you cancel. So just be aware of that before you book. Where at a hotel, usually you can cancel and get all your money back at any time, to be honest with you. So one of the biggest things I look at for accommodations when it comes to an Airbnb is it's very simple: enough bathrooms for everyone that's with me, and enough bedrooms for everyone that's with me. I don't want anyone to be staying on a couch. That's not a comfortable way to stay. If you're staying at somewhere, you know, for a few days, or you have all the kids just to plunk down on the couch sofa, I mean, that's whatever. But we are currently here on business, so we don't want to do that. We don't want to sleep on a sleeper sofa. So we always look for bedrooms, and because a lot of times they'll just tell you how many beds there are. So we don't worry about how many beds, we worry about how many bedrooms there are. So just look at that. You can look through the pictures, you can kind of get a very good idea of what the house layout is and if it will work for you. One of the other things is cooling. Under cooling, sometimes it'll say yes, and then you look in the description, it'll say fan. You want to make sure, actually it says air conditioning. I've been burned on this before. We were staying in Arizona in the summer with no air conditioning, and it was just ceiling fans. So just really make sure. I couldn't give the host a bad rating because of it, because he told you it was fans. I just didn't read carefully enough. So just make sure that all the amenities that you want are actually listed. That kind of goes into my next thing, where your rating. You have a rating and the host has a rating. I try to look for hosts that have close to a 5 rating. A lot of them are super hosts as well. Super hosts go above and beyond and have excellent rating and several stays before they hit super host status. A lot of them have several rentals as well through Airbnb, and that's how they can achieve that status. A lot of those it's like clockwork to them. They have people leaving, they have people going in, and you know, it's automatic. Do not bug them. Ask them, hey, what's a good place to eat around here? You know, they get several texts probably from all their Airbnbs. I try not to bug them as much as I can. A lot of these Airbnbs will have a binder. In that binder, what be the house rules and everything like that, what you need to do before you check out. We'll get to that in a second. But what they also have is like usually restaurants and places that are nearby. Maybe they're walking distance. So that's a really good tool to use before you bug the homeowner with you know, what's the Wi-Fi password, what is a good restaurant to go to. It'll all be in that book, usually on the coffee table in the house. The other house rules I was mentioning before is the checking out rules. So the checking out rules have basically everything you need to do before you check out. Sometimes a homeowner asks you to strip all the bed linens off and throw them in the washer, or all your towels in the washer. Not necessarily start it, they just want them in the washer so they don't have to handle them. The other thing is they might ask you to take out the trash out to the curb, or they might tell you to throw all the dishes in the dishwasher and just run it before you leave. These things are all very standard. Know this before you go into an Airbnb, because if you want full service, a hotel might be better served for you, because it's really not worth losing your security deposit or getting bumped down on your rating where you can't rent another Airbnb again because your rating is so poor and nobody wants to rent to you. So I feel like that covered most of what concerns and info that you need to know before you book an Airbnb. If you have any questions, anything that I missed, I'm sure I have, comment below. And until next time, thank you.